Hi everyone, it's Denise from Salvaged Inspirations. Thank you so much for joining me today. So, I do know that painting spindles can be very annoying because when I first started painting furniture, I dreaded it. I really did. So today I'm going to show you my technique for painting spindles with no brush marks. I have to be honest, I was a little apprehensive about making this video because it's going to look odd. I literally slap it on. But when my sister saw how I paint spindles, she says, oh my God, you gotta show this. So even if it helps one of you in your projects, and it looks a little odd, I'll go with that. I hope it really helps you guys too. Just let me set up and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm all set up, and just to give you a lowdown of what I'm gonna be doing and how I do this technique is, it's really, I call it the slap-on method because it's really kind of slapping on paint then leaving it alone. So I'm using a Worcester 3-inch, it's a Worcester Pro 3-inch brush. And the reason why I chose this brush is because it will cover a lot of area quickly. So I'm not going to speed this up. I'm going to show you how easy it is to paint these spindles, and I'm guessing I'll have them all done within, I don't know, 3 minutes. Okay, so here's how I do it. I don't paint with the spindle. I don't paint up and down with the spindle because I find that with all this detail and all the grooves, it does not work well for me. So what I do is I go around the spindle. And this prevents the brush marks from showing up. So I know this is gonna look a little bizarre, but I am gonna slap it on and I'm gonna show you how well this works and how fast this technique works. So this is a damp brush. I'm going to put very little paint on it. So I don't wanna load my brush fully. You want it fairly dry. You can start off, it's better to start off with it more dry than too wet because the wet will make a mess. And then I'm literally gonna slap it on. So actually, let me do the front so you can see. And I just go around. I like doing two coats. And you wanna make sure you get all angles. Your first coat won't fully cover. But you just want to slap it on and then leave it be. Put a little more paint on. The less you fuss with it, the better. Okay, and I'll do the bottom. And you can see how fast this goes. And once the second coat goes on, really, it's literally like slapping it on, isn't it? Once the second coat goes on, you end up with a really nice, even coverage. And I give it a light sanding with a sanding sponge at a high grit, like say 220, as long as I don't want to distress. Make sure you get all angles here. Hope you guys can see that. Again, if you see that you missed any spots, you go back. So let me move this. You can see how the front ones work. Again, I'm going to show you how much paint I'm picking up here. Damp brush, not wet. Not wet, guys, because then when you start going like this, it's going to splurt all over the place. So, damp brush, a tiny little bit of paint. You don't want it fully loaded. You want it pretty dry. And then slap it on. See how nicely that works? And seriously, you don't end up with any brush marks. If I was to go like this and fiddle with it and everything, it just doesn't work for me. Then do the circumference, you go around. See, that was a little too much paint because I just saw some whip off into the wander there. Okay. Make sure you get the full circumference. I'll get the back. Remember how I came up with this technique actually, because everybody usually paints them up and down. I don't even remember why I started doing it this way. I guess because the up and down really wasn't working for me. But again, with the larger brush, you see how fast this covers? Again, the less you fiddle with it, the better. It's just good to get the paint on and let it do its thing. Hopefully you can see this side. And you'll be amazed at how fast this really works and your results. Can you see this one? Let me move this over. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I have to hold it so it doesn't move around because it's a light little table. With something heavy duty, you probably wouldn't have to worry about it too much. Again, I'll go around, do the back. Also, a good idea is to do the spindles first. This is kind of backwards from what I've seen other people also say. Do the spindles first and then do that, because this is just primed. I will be painting this, but I just wanted to show you how I do the spindles before I finish this up. If you use too much paint and it spatters, then you can go back in, give this a light sanding, and finish this up. But I do like doing my spindles before I do the actual piece. I don't know what we're on timing wise, because I mean, I'm chatting it up here also. If I wasn't making the video, I'd be done this already, but it does go fairly quick. You just let the brush do the work for you. You get in there and do the front part. So let the brush do the work for you. First coat done. Okay, just let me bring it in closer and see if I can give you a better look at these spindles. Can you see that there's no brush marks on those? I'll actually show you the after also, which will be helpful. And to finish it off, if I go ahead and put a nice light third coat on these spindles, to totally finish it off, I just use a really high grit sanding sponge, which you can get anywhere, as Home Depot, Lowe's. And I just go in and I give it a really, well, I would actually go like so. Hope you guys can see that, because then it'll spindle around nicely. So I go in with the spindle like this, just give it a few turns, a really light sanding, and then it's ready for top coat. And believe me, you will not have brush strokes with this technique. I know it looks a little odd, slapping it on, but it's worked beautiful for me for so many projects. I really hope it works for you too. So again, I'm Denise at Salvaged Inspirations. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'd love for you to head on over to salvageinspirations.com and subscribe. Feel free to subscribe here on YouTube, and I hope you have a fabulous day. Take care. Bye, guys. I just squirted my face with paint. I'll have them all done in 3 minutes. I'm guessing I'll have them all done in, I don't know, 5 minutes. Guessing I'll have them all done whenever they're done.